On this episode of Tomo's Tune-Ups, I'm going to show you how to replace front brake pads and rotors on an N70 Hilux. So welcome back to the channel, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in. I thought we'd work on the old girl today instead of the old classic Mini because I do have a bit of a grinding sound coming from the front brakes. I've already inspected it, but I'm going to show you what to look for when your brakes start making a squeaking noise. So first thing we need to do is jack up the vehicle. Always ensure you do this on a flat level surface and use the appropriate loaded jack stands. Now this does actually remind me, I do need to buy new axle stands because of the height of this vehicle. I've already raised it 2 inches. It is just a little bit tight to be able to get it on these axle stands, but it'll still do the job. All right, once you have it placed under there, let's lower it down. I'm gonna leave the jack under there. That way it just adds a little bit of extra support. Now it's time to take the wheels off. Once the vehicle's jacked up safely and it's on jack stands, grab yourself an impact gun and undo the wheel nuts. Right, once the wheel nuts are off, gently pull the wheel towards you and then roll it to the side. So the noise we're listening out for is that ever so slight scratching noise on the left hand side. Now the left isn't so bad compared to the right. The right hand side, it is significantly worse. Now what that noise is on the back of the brake pad you have a wear indicator tab. As that wear indicator tab gets closer and closer to the brake rotor, which is normal wear and tear of the brake pads, as it gets closer and closer, it then starts to just kiss the edge of the lip. Once it then starts touching it, it then wears further and further and then creates an even louder scratching sound. When you start to hear that, that's just an audible indication to say, hey, your brake pads are getting quite low, you do need to replace them. Failure to change them now is going to result in them going metal to metal, and then you're going to have to replace the rotors. Now, I have once replaced these rotors in the lifetime in which I've owned the vehicle, and I've gone through 2 sets of brake pads. As a general rule of thumb, you generally only machine rotors once in their lifetime before they're no good. Depending on the type of vehicle, you may need to replace them every single time you do a set of brake pads. For instance, European cars. All right, so once you've got it all jacked up, I generally like to use a long ratchet to be able to do this because you do need quite the leverage to be able to loosen them off from behind. So we're going to access the 2 caliper bolts behind here. So there's one at the bottom. We're going to use a 17mm to loosen that off. You can either use an impact wrench or you can just use a ratchet like I am. Now, for some reason, some clown along the way of owning this vehicle, and it was not me, they decided to run 2 different bolt sizes. I'd say they probably stripped one or they damaged it and they couldn't get a replacement. So I've actually got an 18mm and a 17mm bolt. Annoying and frustrating, but the joys of owning cars that other people have worked on. So all we're going to do here is simply just remove both the bolts and then move the caliper off to the side. All right, then we're just going to grab it, pull it off to the side just like that. Before we let it hang and put pressure on the line here, we are just going to run a cable tie around the bolt hole through here and just put it up around the stub axle. All right, so this is a really good practice to do when you are replacing brakes, to not let the brake caliper hang. So you're going to put unnecessary load and stress on brake components, and then before you know it, you're going to run yourself into the ground of just constant non-stop problems, especially stretch brake lines, which then if they're rubber, they can result in them being damaged from hanging for too long. So it doesn't matter whether you're just doing a quick little brake job like this or whether you're doing a full brake replacement, definitely not advised to let it hang by itself. So that rotor now will just wiggle, come straight off, put it off to the side. That is the locating ring as well for the wheel. So it is important to make sure that we refit that, otherwise it won't become central on there and then we can cause a vibration issue in the front end. All right, so there are new slotted and dimpled brake rotors that we've got from RDA. They are a really good company to buy from, and I buy these from my local brake supplier, in which you can purchase yours from as well. If not, you can purchase them from any good retailer who sells automotive products. So nice and flashy black rotors. Ta-da! So exactly the same. Realign it, put it back up on here. Once we've got it realigned, we then need to move the rotors off to the side, and then we need to refit the brake pads. But before we do, we need to retract the piston inside the caliper. All right, so all we're going to do here is just retract the piston. We're just using a set of multi grips. We're going to adjust it and then squeeze it between the caliper and the brake pad. We just want to retract that piston nice and slowly. That way we can refit the caliper to the brake rotor. You may need to do this several times, just depending how far the brake pads are out from the caliper. Now you do want to make sure as well that you squeeze it until it comes all the way home and that it is no longer sticking out, and it enables you to refit the caliper onto the brake rotor. Now it is worthwhile noting as well, make sure you do both inside and out. If it's got 4 pistons like mine does, squeeze them all the way back in and then refit the caliper. Right, so because they're quite worn, that should be more than enough. Let's now refit the caliper. Fantastic. Let's do up the bolts from behind and then we can replace the pads. All right, so we're just going to grab our bolts, realign them to the holes, and we're going to tighten up the caliper back to the bracket, and then once we've done that, we can then fit the new brake pads. This can sometimes take a little bit of caressing to get it right, but always make sure you start it by hand first before using any tools. All right, once they're tight, we can then move on to removing this clip here. So this clip just goes from either side into the pins, roll straight out. Then depending how tight they are, you can gently push these out by hand. If not, just use your hammer or even just a small, very small punch, and they'll come straight out. Pull the pins out through here. So these are a Brembo style brake pad as well, I should note. These will pull straight out of here. Sometimes they can get a little bit tight in there, only because they do get a build up of brake dust along there. So you can give that a bit of a clean with some emery paper if you need. That as well does need to get refitted, so don't think that it's not important, because it is. Pull the bottom pin out and move them off to the side. Grab our braking pads. Now depending how far the piston's gone back, you may need to retract the piston back a little bit further. So I'm just going to grab my pliers in there, squeeze one side, and then do the same to the bottom. And you will find sometimes that when you do squeeze one piston back, the other one will pop out. That's not an issue, you just have to make sure that you evenly distribute the load between them and then slide the new brake pad in there. Now also for this application, we are using Bendix 4-drive SUV brake pads. These are to suit a 120mm brake pad, and it is worthwhile noting as well that this particular vehicle has 3 different types of brake pads available to it. So depending on the height and the size of the rotor and the brake pad, you do need to ensure that you get the right ones to suit. So there's that wear indicator tab we were talking about before. That's what makes contact with the rotor. You can cheat and just bend that back a little bit, get a little bit more out of the brake pad, but if that is touching the rotor, that means you need to replace it. So get the new brake pad, slide it in, grab the old one out of there. We're going to do the same thing as well. Squeeze these back all the way. This is also a worthwhile time inspecting the boots on the pistons. So if you find the boots are damaged or worn, they're torn, they're leaking, now's the time to change it. You can just replace the boots with a rebuild kit, but for what it's worth, you're better off just replacing the entire caliper. It's a much easier job and saves a lot of time. Grab the second brake pad, and that will slide directly in there, just like that. So we're almost there. We're going to grab our retainer there. We're going to grab the pins again. That'll just slide straight through one brake pad, through the retainer, all the way to the other side, through to the other brake pad. Give it a bit of a wiggle, make sure it's lined up with the other hole on the other side of the caliper. Push it all the way through, and then grab the top one. Do the exact same thing. It will actually go inside that groove you can see just there. So make sure it seats in there. Slide it all the way in. There we go. And don't forget this retainer. Now, this looks pretty miserly, to be honest. Like, it's absolute nothing, like it's made of a bloody paper clip, but This is a very important thing to help prevent the pads from coming out. So all I'm doing here is just realigning these holes to about roughly where I need it to be. Should be about there we need it. Slide one pin in, slide the other pin in, and then hook it up in around through there. Those will go in as far as they can, and then that's it for one side. Now before we go back any further, we need to make sure that we refit the hub-centric ring to the actual hub itself. That makes sure that the wheel is nice and square on the hub. Now you're probably wondering, why do I have lights in the wheel arches? Well, simply because these are called rock lights. These are used whilst forward driving and are super convenient to be able to light the path in which you need to do if you're driving at night through some rough, rugged terrain. So I literally installed these because if I ever have to do work to my car like I am here at night, I can turn those on, do the work, turn it off, and away I go. And I don't need 15,000 torches to help light the way. Once you've done that, throw the wheel back on and then proceed to the other side. Well folks, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out with all my content and produce the best stuff that I possibly can. So this is a fairly straightforward process, especially on a Hilux. Some cars are just as easy, some are a little bit harder. If you're unsure how to put it together or how to pull it apart, make sure you consult a workshop manual prior to starting the vehicle. Make sure as well use a torque wrench where possible, especially on wheel nuts. Lower the vehicle down, tighten the wheel nuts to the specified torque, and then head on out for your road test. Now I have discussed on how to bed brakes in, but essentially I give you a quick little rundown. Essentially what you want to be doing is increasing the speed of the vehicle to about 40 kilometers an hour, slowing down 50%, so down to 20, back up to 40, back down to 20. You want to repeat that process 3 to 4 times, and then increase your speed to 60 kilometers an hour and slow down 50%. So back down to 30, up to 60, down to 30, once again 3 to 4 times, and then take it up to 80 kilometers an hour, slow it down to 40, back to 80, 3 to 4 times, and that should bed in the brakes fairly sufficiently for you. Just make sure that for the first 500 kilometers, you don't apply the brakes too heavy to allow them to bed in. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Any questions, leave it in the comment section below and I'll answer it when I get a chance. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of Tomo's Tune-Ups.